In this video, we're going to see what arrays are and the basic operations on them. Now, to understand their need better, let's look at this through a real-world example where you need to store the marks of 50 students and manipulate them in different ways. Now, typically for this, what you would have done without arrays is declare 50 float variables for each student S1, S2, S3 till 50, and then 50 such input statements, which is displaying the prompt and getting the input from the user, and correspondingly 50 statements for each manipulation that you want. Now in this is where arrays come in. So because obviously this whole operation doing 50 statements for each of those types is extremely cumbersome to think of. So whenever you have a large number of data which is of the same data type, you can use arrays for this. Now let's look at how to declare and handle array elements. Suppose you want to declare an array of int which stores 5 values called ARR. What I would do is first write the data type int followed by square brackets. After that, the name of the array followed by the values it holds. Here I am giving the values 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are my 5 elements. Now naturally the question arises, how would you reference and manipulate each data value if you're handling them together like this? So how you would do that is the name of the array followed by a number which is called the index number. Now here ARR of 0 points to 1, ARR of 1 points to 2 and finally ARR of 4 points to 5. Now there is no such thing here as ARR of 5 for us because this points to a null value. This is not supposed to be used by us. So all that we are concerned with when you declare an array variable of 5 elements is ARR of 0 to ARR of 4. Now we're moving on to a programmatic example to actually apply what we've learned about arrays till now. As you can see here, I've declared an int array mylist containing 5 elements. After that, I've referenced each of those elements to display them using mylist of I, and here I've used a loop for this. I keeps changing every time to change the index number from 0 to 4. Now here mylist.length is a function which returns the maximum length of the array. So you can use that to keep the index number below the null value, the value 5 which points to the null value. So after that, after using a for loop to display all the elements, I've used another for loop to find the total of all the elements. Here I've used mylist of I again to add each element one by one to a variable total. After that, you display total. And here similarly there's another for loop just to find out the maximum value. After taking mylist of 0, which as you can see is the first element 3 as I explained before, I've assigned that as default to a variable max, and after that one by one, this would be of int type. After that, one by one, I've tested each value of my list using the index number to compare it to the current max value, and according to whether the my list of I is greater than or less than max, I've reassigned the value held by max. So by the end of this loop, you have the maximum value in the variable max, which is displayed for the user to see. So that's all about arrays.